So originally we put this on the market at 220, but this is probably one of the nicest flats. I think it's always worth splitting the title, and I would retain the freehold interest in the development company, and then I would grant the leases. In this video, I have Ian McBain come down, a local property investor, to take a look at our commercial to residential conversion of 7 flats. Ian McBain has got a similar project up the road where he's converting a commercial building to residential, which is going to be 5 flats. And in the video, he picks my brains on internal fit out and specification, resale values, and also any issues that come up during the construction phase that he needs to be aware of. Yeah, out of the 7, we've got 4 waiting to exchange this week. Again, we might be looking at the service accommodation market with this. I wanted to do something a little bit different, but at the moment we might just put it on the market, test the market and see. I'm Mitch Nunn, I'm a property investor and developer, and I've built a £10 million property portfolio in the last 10 years. I'm full-time in property now after building, scaling and exiting 2 businesses, and I'm on this journey to have 100 HMO rooms locally. Essex and Suffolk Water, we had to take the main from the other side of the London Road, which meant traffic management systems closing off a main road into Southend.
So you're responsible for all the temporary traffic lights?
It's
good to come and see Mitch's place so we can, get some ideas. Ours is an empty shell, and you come and see this done and you can visualise what it's going to look like is good. So this is going to be similar size. Obviously we won't rip off your design and colour schemes.
No, but like I say, it's nice that you can come down, look at our sort of standards, what we've done, also compare sort of resale prices and stuff like that. I mean, obviously we achieved like £400 a square foot resale on these. Have you worked back, because I know we had that discussion previously, have you worked that back, and does that kind of meet your GDV expectation?
Yeah, I mean we've went in quite low on our GDV. We think that we'll have built out by November, but it'll just be the refinance, and how long is that going to take?
So what is option A, what's option B? Obviously option A is to retain, rent out?
We'd like to retain the 4, yeah. Just put a mortgage on it and just hold them and rent them out, because it's a nice location. They're going to be a good size and they'll be finished like this to a good standard. Let's face it, the demand for houses is high, isn't it? So
well, funny, we just had that conversation. So when we started this development, I think they said about £800 per month per 1-bed apartment. In my head, now we're done, I think, well, rents have certainly increased in the last 12 months, so possibly £850. Had a conversation with our estate agent who were doing the sales on these, and she said to me, those apartments now are renting for £1,000 a month. It's literally a case of people phoning up saying, what's it rent for? I'll give you £100 a month more, but I need somewhere to live. It's honestly crazy out there. Yeah. It's got the outside space, bigger bedroom, really nice storage in this flat as well. So originally we put this on the market at 220, and yeah, we've got this on at 200 now. But this is probably one of the nicest flats. So it's that margin, smaller, more affordable, that 170, 175 range. As soon as you go to 200, especially with the affordability at the moment, maybe it's just that little bit too out of reach for this sort of market, that first time buyer. And obviously with interest rates, we're not attracting that investor market either at the moment, so a share of the freehold. Yeah.
Okay. Which
is great, but actually then through your service charge, it creates a lot of additional costs as well, because you have to have all your administration costs. It's like your COSEC fee, your filing fees and your accounts and stuff like that, which then pushes your service charge up. But ultimately, people want share of freehold. So I think we're 125-year leases, but share of freehold. So
would you look at splitting the titles? And say you were going to keep them, would you split the title? Would you get a better deal, do you think, on the finance?
That's what I'm looking to do on a block of flats I'm purchasing. I'm buying it in the development company as a freehold block. I'm going to do a title split, and then grant the leases to an associated company, and then retain the leases in my holding company.
Yeah, do you get a better deal on your financing though? Do you know if they're all split or?
I think you've got more flexibility when you do the title split. Obviously the idea is to retain them all, but you can maybe sell them off, retain them. Again, you can then play off different lenders and have different products on different flats, etc. So that's what I would look to do on that. Fans, ultimately, when you do the conversion, you'll need to do extractor fan extraction tests to make sure there's it's all done on litres per second. You need to ensure there's enough pull on the extraction fans. So
have you changed them from the existing one?
Yeah, so well, we actually had one, but we had to upgrade them because when we had the test, there wasn't enough. Yeah, so obviously you have to achieve 12 litres per second.
Yeah.
So 12 in a bathroom, 24 in your kitchen.
Yeah.
So we had to upgrade these to ensure there was enough pull. So just something to think about. When you're doing your extraction out, make sure there's no kinks or anything in your pipe. So make sure that's a clean run as well.
So on the penthouse upstairs, have you still got that? Is that at first fix stage? Or is it
yeah, well no,
on
that will be first fix stage because obviously you'll have to put in your extractor vent.
Yeah, so I had a question on the sound and the acoustics up there, so
yeah, so
I'll wait till we get up there.
Well, all of the flats had to have acoustic test to check your thermal junctions, to check they're insulated. And this was new regulation that come out. We were part way through the build. The builders were saying, well, there's no detail on this. And the architects were like, this is new regulation. You're one of the first developments we've come across that this has come into play with. So it's all to do with your thermal junctions and insulating where, you know, your walls meet, where your wall meets your roof. So that's probably the biggest learning on this development. Yeah, so this is flat 5. This is also for sale. Annoyingly, we accepted an offer on this at about 205. And it was a bit of a push for the buyer. I think as the interest rates went up, their affordability just got stretched. I think then, like I said, with the service charge, I think it got out of reach, so they've pulled out of this. So yeah, out of the 7, we've got 4 waiting to exchange this week, 3, 5 in the penthouse, which has obviously just been finished off. So
just annoying about that, isn't it? Annoying about those fans. You've
they're
got
ugly
to put new fixings in.
They are ugly, yeah. But I think they were like £40 a unit. I think they did the same litres per second unit, but in a much prettier style. But they went up to like 150 quid. So it's. Let's go to the penthouse.
So was this originally here, or have you created this?
So this we had to create. So basically, the original wall was here. Yeah. So we've added this in. Obviously, we had to drop the staircase in, and then this has all been formed separately.
Right. Okay.
Obviously, we're still decorating up here, but
so this is pure add value, then, isn't it? Because
this is
it's like another building.
Yep. There was mention that we would need a sprinkler system for the penthouse.
Yeah.
But it worked out that it was close, but we didn't need one. So basically, there's 2 metrics they sort of look at: is height of the building, which has to be under like 11 metres. I think we were like 10.3 or something. And then also it's like 45 metres run of the fire hose. So it's from the furthest point in the flat out to the road.
Yeah.
And we basically fell just under that. It was about 43 metres. So luckily it didn't need.
That was a good day.
Yeah. That's going to be an outside terrace area. So you can access that from this door and also from the bedroom. So we're just doing like a promenade tile out there with some railings.
We've got the funding, we get the deals, bang, we're in the game.
That's a 2-bed, yeah.
So I take it, did you just change the floor just because it was in the top and you were going to charge
Yeah, so we've gone for a slightly better standard because this flat is a 300 grand flat ultimately.
Yeah.
So there's a few things we did different colour on the walls, different flooring, better carpet.
Can as well, yeah, that's nice, Mitch.
Nice, isn't it?
So obviously I was looking to retain this one, and it still is an option, so I kind of did it to sort of my sort of spec. Again, we might be looking at the service accommodation market with this. I wanted to do something a little bit different, but at the moment we might just put it on the market, test the market and see, you know, we might find a buyer, but if not, I think this will be one we'll retain. I think this flat is about 700 and something square foot.
Yeah.
Obviously that's not including the large outside terrace space. We've also got a terrace out the front as well. So once the railings are up, it's all being rendered at the moment. So again, we just went slightly better. So the extractor fan on the hob, we did that slightly better.
Put the island in, it's quite stable.
Put the island in.
When you sell then, so if you exchange and then complete on some, will you start to pay off
the debt.
pay off the finance?
Yeah, exactly. So at the moment, I think our total debt on the building is about 950. Yeah, 950 grand. We've got, but 4 of the sales that are going through is about 750. So yeah, in the coming weeks, we'll pay down our debt to about 200 grand.
Yeah.
And then we've got the 3 flats left, which, you know, GDV on that's probably probably 700 grand. We've got 200 grand to pay back, so it's probably 500 grand of equity, but need to get them sold though. You get your monthly statement through on the interest, and obviously, you know, our interest payment on this, I know it's all rolled up, but this will be like about 9-10 grand a month at the moment, so need to get signed off, get the sales in.
Yeah. How did this one come on your radar? How did you find this place?
So this was an off-market deal. Me and my partner in this one, Neil, we know a institutional size sort of landlord who buys a lot of commercial. He bought, I think it was in auction, the Sainsbury's next door, the flats above, the car park, and this was part of the lot, but this didn't sort of meet his investment criteria, so he kind of split this off and sold it to us off market. So
good.
Yeah, so we obviously bought the whole block for about 575. I think the works at the moment we're about 530,000. We've got a few things to finish off, the outside bin store, the railings and stuff like that. And then, yeah, the GDV was about 1.5. So
when you put in for planning on this, so I'm guessing you went to convert all the flats.
we converted all of the flats, yeah.
And then you would put in planning to get this original flat. Was there any other schemes you went for, or was this just was this all you could have?
This was all we went for. Yeah, so obviously where you have to step in the development slightly on the top, it just made sense to make it a 1-2 bed flat.
Well,
I mean, looking back now, I'm thinking actually should I just done a really big HMO? Because it would have been probably like 25 bedrooms or something, which, you know, for your income would have been great. But
so I'm guessing the numbers would have worked at the existing 6 flats. You would have still made a bit of profit, wouldn't you?
still would have made profit.
But this, if you can get it all going, this would be a nice bit of cream on top.
This flat's like 300 grand. It's cost us about 150 to build it.
Yeah.
You know, obviously didn't pay anything for the land because we already owned it. So, you know, technically on the Penthouse, 100% profit.
Yeah.
So it just made the deal that much sweeter, really. And you think, but obviously, yeah, it's good for you to come and see it because, you know, this will be your end product. But as you look at it now, you think that's a million miles away. But you just go through the motions each day and.
But the good thing about buying a place that's just really run down, the fact is, you know, you're just stripping it back to the bare brick. There's no emotion involved in it.
That's it.
Clear all the muck away, which is a job and a half.
Yeah.
But once it's done, it's a blank canvas.
It's always the worst part, the clearance. Once you're clean, you've got a fresh, stripped out shell.
Yeah.
That's where the creativity starts, I guess.
So did you have any issues in terms of like the scaffold because it's on a main road, or?
No issues with the scaffold because we haven't got scaffold on the front, just down the side elevation to the rear, because we're doing a render, obviously on the Penthouse and down to the rear elevation. But really the only issue we've had is the logistics, because we've got a bus stop out the front. We haven't really got anywhere to store materials, so you know, we've had to crane the materials up onto the roof from the car park next door. So again, you know, that slows you up because you've got to get enough material up on site to make the crane worthwhile in terms of the cost, and then you're forever shuffling material around trying to work around it. But apart from that, it's...
So is it all electric in here or gas
No,
as well?
gas
Boiler in every flat?
Yeah, so gas in every flat, and then obviously, electric. We had to obviously run a new water main across the London Road, which was a bit of an oversight.
Did you have to do 7 water meters?
7 water meters, 7 new supplies.
Electrics, yeah, 7 gas.
Yeah, so down the side we've got external meter boxes. So 7 electric, 7 gas. But
UK Power Networks did all the.
So we did the dig down the side, and then they come and run the services. Cadent are quite straightforward. They're quite nice to deal with. UK Power Network a little bit harder work. Essex and Suffolk Water, we had to take the main from the other side of the London Road, which meant traffic management systems closing off a main road into Southend. And obviously the cost of that became costly because of the amount of work involved, and that was about 10 grand.
So you're responsible for all the temporary
So-
traffic lights.
I got swore at a few times that week. This is a new channel, so I really appreciate if you'd hit the like button. And also, this was just part of my week. If you're interested in what else I got up to, please take a look at this video here.